you have this shredded mound that came from 100 different documents or pieces of paper that someone's used, and then I get it and I spend so much time processing it and pulling it and drying it and cutting it. Like, there's just so much that goes into it before it even gets to the point of printing and cutting and the finished item. It's so much love and attention, and I feel like that's why it feels so good. I feel as if that's why it's so beautiful, because people can feel and they can understand even without knowing that this is an item that has been loved through its life.
Hola, konnichiwa, kia ora, and hello. My name is Emy, a clay artist, mom of two, and the creator of my business called Oikawa. Join me as I share with you the path where clay becomes inspiration, where with clay I craft nature's beauty and spread positivity throughout this creative journey. Explore the world of clay art and discover how it can inspire your life. Hola, konnichiwa, kia ora, and hello. My name is Emy Oikawa, the clay artist behind my business called Oikawa. And today I'm so excited and I'm so happy to introduce you a very special guest who resides in Kalangadoo, Australia, Charlotte from Zwartko. From those of you tuning in, my connection with Charlotte blossomed through a dear American friend, Ellie from Saunders Adornment, who discovered Charlotte's stationery for her business. This spiked my curiosity because it's been a journey to make my stationery and products as eco-friendly and sustainable as possible. I reached out to Charlotte and learned about her fantastic offerings. Charlotte is a true gem. She's humble, hardworking, an excellent communicator when it comes to serving her customers, and incredibly supportive in showcasing the wonderful creations people make using her products. One of those remarkable creations is a plantable and reusable greeting card that I have the pleasure of designing and having Charlotte craft for me. We'll explore more about these cards as our conversation unfolds, but for now, please join me in giving a warm and enthusiastic welcome to Charlotte. Thank you for joining us today, Charlotte.
Thank you so much for having me. What a beautiful introduction. Well.
Charlotte, tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing in your business, and what is the meaning behind your business name, Zwartko?
Great question. So what I do in my business, I make handmade paper to specific specifications, seed, colors, whatever the customer wants. And then I transform that into a variety of different business stationery products. So business cards, literally anything that my customer needs is within reach. As for my business name, Zwartko, I used to have a business doing many other things in my past life. We'll just leave that there. And it was called Wild Rose. But I wanted something a little bit more unique, because I find that people can't really find you if there's too many wild roses, say, for example. So I was looking on the internet, just typing in random words pretty much, and I came across a particular succulent, and it's called the Zwartko, and its other name is actually the black rose. So I thought, well, that's quite fitting. So I literally just dropped a P and Zwartko came to be, really. Yeah.
That's so cool. Wow, so interesting. Yes, and I forgot to mention to everyone who is watching this interview that also Charlotte prepares some questions. So would you like to
I would love to ask you a question. I've been trolling you on the website. I've been looking at everything. I know that you use such beautiful colors in your work, and there's such a variety of color. What is your connection to color when you create? How do you choose? How does it make you feel? It just seems like such a beautiful choice that you've made actively.
It takes me so much like to my culture. Like, I am half Colombian and half Japanese. So it just reflects my very vibrant culture, like from Colombia, that we're all so like exotic. We just have to have all the colors of nature and flowers, and it's just the beauty of nature that makes us wear those colors too, but also I love to decorate and make my art with this kind of colors, like mixing the reds with the green, with the blues and the yellows, like that, instead of like sticking. I mean, I love that red, I love the greens, I love the blue, but I love the fusion of them to create my art pieces.
Yeah, your fusion is beautiful. Colors that I wouldn't necessarily think to put together. It's definitely you. I can see that. You're very bright and colorful and sparkly. I can definitely see that in you.
Thank you. I kind of try to put that in the mix of colors in my art and like jewelries, for example, like this one.
Yeah,
all the colors.
I saw them on the website. They're gorgeous.
Thank you so much. This is my next question for you. What were you feeling when you first discovered the art of handmade paper and realized it was something you wanted to pursue?
Excellent question. So many ways that I could answer that. I think when I discovered handmade paper, I was in a really interesting time in life. I'd started an apprenticeship and not completed it because the work environment just wasn't a healthy one for me. So I was coming out of that and into a sustainable job that I really enjoyed, but I started to feel that I wasn't really creating something that reflected what I could give, everything that I could be. So I actually I got a little handmade paper making kit. I just bought it offline, just like a little A4. And the paper scrap that we used from the company, I actually just took that home, shredded it and blended it up and just had a bit of fun with it. And it all sort of spiraled from there. I got more and more paper scrap from work because it was free and it was there and I didn't want to chuck it out. And I just started making paper, and then it turned into learning how to make journals. And then my boss at the time actually said to me, look, I'd love for you to make our product cards out of the paper that you recycle from the business. Like, if you can figure out how to make that work, I will buy them off you. So basically, I just ran with that idea. I got a printer. Thank you to my printer supplier, Pete. I got a guillotine, and it all just sort of spiraled, really. Made myself a little workshop in the house, and then before I knew it, I was doing 4,000 of their cards per month, and I had people wanting to buy my stuff off Etsy, and I had a website. It was just incredible, honestly. One choice, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And when was that? Like,
yeah, so that would have been 2019, 2020.
Oh, it's like really recent.
3 years ago. Yeah, wow. That's incredible.
Wow, that's incredible.
See, when you consistently move, like with so many orders and so many customers, I never really look back. So it's really interesting to talk about it because I sort of don't even realize where it came from.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot has happened in a very short time for you as a small business owner.
It really has. So much more than I ever expected.
It seems like how you are pursuing your kind of new passion, and then people are loving what you're making. So this is what is happening to you.
Absolutely.
In the world.
I think the connection to my customers is what makes it so exciting, because no two orders are ever the same and no two customers are ever the same. So it's a continuous dance of pushing my skills into different avenues to make a product that's very meaningful for people. It's amazing. My customers are amazing. I have to really give you all a shout out because you are the ones that create the products for sure. I just kind of bring it into life.
That's awesome.
What are your roots? How did you start clay shaping? I know you took a course, but how did it all sort of evolve from there?
Mhm. Well, actually, I didn't take any course for
No?
my art. No, I took like one course, but just recently for like how to learn how to weave with the jewelries.
Oh.
But for my clay art, that was back in 2005 when I was 15 at school, when I was in high school. And all started when my clay art teacher, not clay art teacher, my art teacher in art class, he said to all of us, like all my classmates and I, like, look, there is some clay, there's a board, do whatever you want. Today's like free art or whatever. And then everyone started to make their like figurine kind of pieces on top of that board. And then I was kind of looking around, but I was just then so focused on what I'm gonna make. And then I started to smash the clay on the board, and then starting to make like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make this like landscape of like a mountain with a tree and some flowers. And I started to pick all these little pieces, and I'm like, this is nice. Okay. I'm hungry. Okay, let's go to morning tea. and then I just left my piece there. Or I think I can handle it to the teacher or something on my way out when it was when it was morning tea time. And then he grabbed me, he was like, wait, you have to frame this. And I'm like, what? Like this, I'm gonna frame it. And then those words just stuck in my head for a few days. And I'm like, actually, maybe I'm gonna start to make more of these. If someone or like an art teacher, he was like, I should frame this, maybe something that is like unique to the world or unique to the kind of art.
Mm.
And then I started to make more of these and experiment with shape, experiment with uh types of art, like more like puntillism or more like landscape or portraits or stuff like that. And then I started to be more inclined into nature and make more like nature inspired pieces. And yeah, so that's the beginning, 2005.
I have never seen clay on a board. It's an absolutely revolutionary idea. Like people make earrings, people make sculptures, but there's not that in between art space. That is just a revolutionary idea.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's funny because it's something that I started to do because I just enjoyed so much the experience. And
Mm.
while sometimes after school, I was just doing these, watching like a movie, right? Like having TV and right, or listening to music, doing my art. So yeah, something that I have enjoyed so much working on it.
Mm.
Mhm.
And how did you transition into jewelry? Because that's a different spin.
So yeah, so it's funny because like back in Colombia, when I was living in Colombia, I was making only art pieces, commissions, or something that I started to make because I felt like a few different emotions, or after a trip, I got inspired from it, and then I started to make art pieces. But then I came to New Zealand, and then I went to like art store, art material stores, and then I saw the polymer clay, and I'm like,
Mm.
I want to try this. This is so cool. That you bake and you make things out of it. And then I started to make little pieces of art for you to wear, stuff like that.
Yes, okay. That
So,
makes more sense.
so it was all using my art techniques in the little pieces of jewelry, for people to wear. Mhm.
That's so cool. Yeah, polymer clay is amazing. My cousin actually makes little sculptures and she makes keychains out of them.
Uh,
Amazing. Have
it's so,
absolutely no idea how she does it.
it's just so much fun. It's
Oh,
just like, and you just become a little kid.
yeah, absolutely. I'd love to try it one day. I really would.
What emotions run through you when you see your handmade paper being used for various creations, projects, and appreciated by your customers?
Honestly, so many emotions. Probably most excitement, I would say. I think when you put so much joint energy into a project, like with all of my customers, it's a consistent back and forth, and we're throwing ideas around, and then we kind of go to the mock-up stage where things take shape and you pick your colors and designs. I feel as if it's like we've created something not akin to a child, obviously, because that's a whole different time frame. But I feel as if it's just something that has grown from so much love and attention. And I think that's what gives it the power of excitement and pride, and when it's all come together and they get it in the post. I think that's my favorite part, when they receive it in the post. And I always get voice messages or like Instagram messages, and they're like 10 long. They're like, oh my God, I'm so excited. It's here. It's beautiful. It's like it's always better than what they think, because it's such a tactile product that you really need to feel it, and you need to touch it, and you need to smell it, and you need to kind of get involved. So I think there's a lot of excitement, a lot of joy. And honestly, recently I've kind of accepted everything doesn't have to be perfect the first time. Like, I'm very much a perfectionist, but I feel as if we need to revisit things, if things aren't the right size, if they aren't the right design, if we made a little mistake along the way, that doesn't bother me anymore, because it's basically a piece of art that two people have contributed. So I feel as if both parties go into it with the idea that, okay, we can make that a little better, that could be a little smaller, there's not that pressure there for it to be exactly perfect every single time. Like, we can redo it. It's a reusable material. Like, it is my time that is the valuable part. So we can always like make things better. Yeah, it's a very detailed experience.
And I can see like is it joyful from you, but it's so joyful from us.
Absolutely.
It's like to have found you, for example, like many people like me that are finally be able to create stationery from a like plantable paper or like compostable paper or something from 100% recycled material, you know, and so that's like incredibly lucky that we could meet you and get your thoughts.
Every time that I get a customer from a customer, or a customer comes along, it really is a niche. Like, there is so many amazing eco companies out there that just can't get sustainable packaging that suits their brand. It's mind-boggling that there's not other options, because there really should be. Hopefully a lot of companies like myself will spring up, and there'll be more options for more people, because it's trees we're saving. It's paper that would have gone into landfill. Like, it's a very interesting. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everyone's here, and I give all the help that I can get to all of the people that contact me who start out making paper or want to make paper goods, or because it's a very niche product that is just doesn't have the research and development going into it yet. So you really have to have your own initiative and make your own equipment, and yeah, it's a hard place to start from.
You're doing great, Charlotte. Thank you so much.
I have a great question for you, because I've always wondered, why New Zealand? You are Colombian, you are Japanese. Why New Zealand?
Because of love.
Great answer.
The love brought me here, or love picked me up and brought me.
I love that answer.
It's kind of the same joke I do with a lot of people. But yeah, it's like in Colombia, I was just working and stuff, and I met my Kiwi partner. Kiwi, for those who don't know, Kiwi is like the way New Zealand people are called. So I met my partner, and he brought me. I mean, we decided to come and live here together, and now it's been like 8 years.
Wow.
Almost 9. But yeah, it's like so crazy, and we've been already like 10 or 11 years together. I don't know. So it's been like such a fast 10 years together.
Yeah.
But a lot has happened. Now we are family of 4, loving the life here in New Zealand. People are so kind, so nice, and beautiful landscapes and the multiculturalism is something that I love. Yeah, I love my Colombian family and friends. But I think personally, I saw myself living overseas always for a very long time. And I was really happy to make the decision to come and live in New Zealand, which is a long way from my family, from both my Colombian and Japanese family. And it's hard in that side because but luckily with the screens, we can just call each other anytime. We can talk and stuff, but it's not the same. But still, New Zealand is a really good place to live.
I've never been, so I can't wait to check it out.
Yes, let me know when you come. We can
I will,
catch
of
up.
course. That would be fantastic. Yeah, the beautiful scenery. I can imagine that would be such an inspiration for your work.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really beautiful. New Zealand. I love it.
Well done. Makes sense.
My next question for you is, describe a moment when you felt a deep connection between your craft and the environment, realizing the impact of your work on sustainability.
Great question. There's a lot of moments, obviously, but I feel as if with my paper supplier, so all of my paper that I get shredded is from a doctor's surgery in a close town where I live. So Mount Gambier, 30 minutes down the road. It's a doctor's surgery, and I go in there and I just pick up bags of shredded paper that they've shredded, obviously, from documents. So every time I go in there, probably every week, they have a whole hallway full of these bags of shredded paper for me. I'm talking about like hundreds of bags every single month, say, for example.
Oh my God.
And it's quite, I'm going to have to take a photo of it for one of my stories because it is a staggering amount of paper. And every time I go in there, I just let myself in the side. I go to this hallway and I start loading it into my four-wheel drive. And honestly, it is a surreal moment. Just the fact that that will all be paper that will go out to people, that it had to have come from somewhere else, trees, cotton rag, whatever else, like that is just crazy that we can make something so beautiful from what is essentially trash. It blows my mind. It really does. And every time I run out of paper, I'm like, where did those 100 bags just go? Like, that's so easy. Because the amount of paper that we're going through, it's just mental.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I mean, like what you just said with the 100 bags and stuff. And I think like when you just said like, where does all those 100 bags go, But at that time when I touch and feel your paper, it's not the thin like industrialized paper, is a nice thick cushiony like
so spongy. Yeah.
And so it's like there's where it goes.
Absolutely.
Like all the paper that you process and everything to make it and for a second life, So yeah, that's amazing.
I kind of feel as if the paper gives it gives it the character, obviously, because you have this shredded mound that came from 100 different documents or pieces of paper that someone's used, and then I get it and I spend so much time processing it and pulling it and drying it and cutting it. Like there's just so much that goes into it before it even gets to the point of printing and cutting and the finished item. It's so much love and attention, and I feel like that's why it feels so good. I feel as if that's why it's so beautiful, because people can feel and they can understand even without knowing that this is an item that has been loved through its life and will still be loved through its life.
That's awesome.
Okay, why do you choose by collection, like to sell by collection, rather than to sell, say, for example, custom piecework?
That's a good question. I think I have worked at the beginning it was more like custom, right? But I've been trying different things through my business life as an artist. And I have tried also the sell by collection and make like something, that group of art pieces, a group of mainly like jewelry at the moment that has the same topic, the same story, kind of the same story. So yeah, I've been like having fun creating the collections. For example, up in my website, I have a collection made with raffia that I weave, that pieces of jewelry, that is called Aotearoa collection, and it is like all things jewelry that is inspired by New Zealand nature. So I think it makes it more cohesive if you see a group of pieces that has to do with like a topic, that are made around a topic. So yeah. But I also enjoy making like custom pieces too. I love it. Like for example, like when it's about like a commission, and then a commission or one of a kind pieces. I mean, like collection, I have made collections with one of a kind pieces too, but pieces that are not in a collection that people say like, I would like you to make me these, or I myself create something. Not recently I have done it, but like before I was like, okay, I want to make this piece that I'm dreaming of, and it's just one of it. So like trying different things, what's working, what's not working, but it's just like, if you don't try, you don't know what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
So
Do you find that you get inspired for your next collection at very random times? Like, say, for example, you're making your collection, it's all going well, and then you put it up. Do you immediately have another idea that you want to work on next, or do you have to take some time afterwards to kind of resettle your thing? Or
yeah, I have done like a few different ways. One is like plan it really well. Like I have no idea, and I want to create a collection, So I want, and I have sit and brainstorm ideas, brainstorm images, and check the colors, what I want to make, how to make it and stuff. And then I do this like process of creating the pieces from zero, I have, what should I do, But then I have other times that I'm like randomly, like I'm like, oh my God, I just want to make like this collection that has to do with like plants, just like specific plants. And I have to do this. So I think this is what is happening actually recently. Something that you might see in the near future. So yeah, I
it
think
would be very exciting to have one of those aha moments, like, oh, I'm going to do this next for sure. Like that moment where you're like, yes, I love that. That's cool.
Yeah. But I'm like a person who is full of ideas. I'm like, what should I do next? What should I do first? Because I want to do a lot of things at the same time. But I'm like, okay, just sit and focus. And I'm like, okay, what's next? Take the notes. And yeah, that will also resonate with a lot of people. And that it is, but it's very close to my heart, close to my kind of personality, my likings too,
Yeah, great. I love that.
What's your personal opinion about the EcloArt plantable and reusable greeting cards, and how do they align with the values of Zwartko?
Great question. Well, first of all, they're absolutely brilliant. I have always wondered about greeting cards because there's so many people that get a greeting card and they keep it in a shoebox or like somewhere because they can't like handle throwing it out, because it's a beautiful memory. It's from that person that you love. And then the shoebox overflows, and then what do you do with them after that? It's such a difficult thing to chuck out. I completely agree. So your greeting cards take all of that stress out. Not only do they have a multiple life, so you write your message, you send it to your friend, then they take out that message and then they send it on to their friend. Like, not only does it have a 3 or 4 span life, after that life, it also creates life. It's just an amazing, versatile product that has all of its bases covered, literally. It's still beautiful. You still write notes to your friend, then your friend can use it and their friend can use it. And I love that little map that you have on the back where it's like, where has this card been? What a journey. And then the last person to have it just puts it in their garden and they get blooms. It's just, it's perfect. It is everything that Zwartko stationery aims to be.
I'm so happy. Yes, I think this I have shared it with a few people, but it's like a dream product that I really wanted to achieve and create. And thanks to meeting you, thanks to like the whole process of creating the card, because the previous version is, which I'm still selling on my website and stores, is like in markets, is like the reusable card, you know, and which it also
brilliant.
It's time to create and like have a lot of pieces, a lot of parts of it like really well like designed, but then putting that touch of plantable, you know, that part of it. So I think it was like, the dream. I still have to do a little, you know, every time you just can't make it better and better. Like I have that mentality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Things should evolve naturally. I completely agree.
Thank you so much for your thoughts of it about it. It means a lot, like from the maker, you know, from the person who made the stuff. Yeah.
It's I have made so many reusable greeting cards since you. Like people now want something that doesn't have that disposability of a normal card. Like they want something to be a little bit more versatile and practical and eco-friendly. It makes so much sense. It just makes sense.
I mean, the main motivation was to create a product that you know how it's ending. You know from your hands how it's gonna be finishing its life, which is finish of its life is the initiation of a new life, you know, because a lot of things, like in general, I put a lot of paper sometimes in the recycling bin, you know, to recycle, to keep it. But after the recycling, what's it called, card, the rubbish recycled card comes, and you know, I don't even know where exactly goes, you know, in Wellington. And that's like, of course, let that work happen in the other hands, but it's a very special for you to know what is happening at the end of a product's life.
Even if someone doesn't plant the card, like that card can go in the recycling bin, and then that recycle will go to, say, for example, a landfill or a waste recycling center, and it'll start growing anywhere. It doesn't need to be specifically planted. Like I've had some of my cards that I've just had, say, for example, offcut sitting in a moist place, and they'll just start growing. They don't even need that soil step. Even the recycled paper itself without seeds, if you literally just water that down, it'll just dissolve into nothing and just is food for your garden. It just doesn't even need that breaking down process has already happened. So
it's amazing. Wow.
I have a question for you, madam.
Yes.
What are your aspirations for the future? Where do you see your business and your creative journey going from here?
So I have been thinking in the last few months, even probably the last year or so, how I have to start to think on keep working on my business as an artist, as a designer, and as a mother. So to make it sustainable for me to be able to keep working, but also keep raising my kids. And I don't want to like miss a lot of the precious moments of their growth. So I've been like working towards that idea of how I will be creating new products for people to keep learning about my art learning also maybe in future. I haven't told many people about this idea, but I love also like to teach. I would love to teach people how to do more of like clay art. So I've been like thinking of like a course or something. And so I want to make it a bit more open to different kind of products, not just like me making each piece for which takes me a long time. I will keep doing that, but less.
Yeah.
Because it takes me a long time for me to work on each piece. And I want to create something that will be more, I don't know, like more sustainable for my mental health and the business too. And yeah, so I
So more
think
of
that's
a
like,
work-life balance.
yes, definitely. Yeah. So it's like that antenna that I have to be like thinking, like thinking from now, like working on it, and yeah, just seeing that like working and chasing that goal. Mm-hmm.
Great goal. It's a hard one, that one.
Mm-hmm.
I find
Yeah.
that with
Yeah.
handmade stuff especially, everything just takes so long, and then you kind of get swept up in the customers and the production. And yeah, I can see how absolutely having children would add another level to that as well, because you would have a lot to do.
Yeah, and especially is a lot harder if you don't have a community to talk about it. So I've been like with the other antenna, with the many antennas, like trying to find those people who are doing the same ish thing. So other moms who have small businesses, other moms who are artists that have kids, what are they doing, or anyone around the world who you can connect and make these really good like, I don't know, conversations and get advice from others. What are they doing? So that helps a lot, because you can just feel a bit more kind of like relatable, and then you know what to do instead of feeling all the time super lost.
Agreed.
So
that's a great point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as if you have friends, of course, but if they don't have businesses, you really sort of can't discuss these things because they're just not in the same boat. So I completely understand what you're saying.
Oh, I think this conversation has been so cool to like know a little bit more about each other. So
honestly,
yeah, I like
everyone should do this. I want to talk to like all of my customers about what they think and what they're doing in their businesses. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, not many times we have the opportunity to get to know each other like that.
No.
Like,
we get to know each other through the products, but that's sort of the end. But everyone's on their own business journey. It's amazing to learn.
So my next question is, in your view, how does this card design contribute to reducing environmental footprint, and why is it essential for individuals to consider eco-friendly alternatives like this card?
I think that the way the world is moving, we're all more conscious and more interested in what environmental footprint we have. And reducing that as much as possible is always a good thing. Like, dependent on how aggressive you want to be in your sustainability, like whether you just recycle, whether you shred your own waste, all of that. There's so many different levels. But when you purchase a card that is plantable, that is recycled, that is recyclable, I think that is always a good choice to make, because the hard part has been taken out for you. Not only do you not have to think about your impact because it's already been pre-organized for you, you get the benefits of that beautiful bloom for your garden. So I think it's really is a bit of a no-brainer. Like, as long as it's got the same qualities, it's beautiful, it's functional, and it's got that recycled element, I don't think you could go wrong, really. And with a design like yours, I think the recyclability makes it more beautiful, not less. Like, you're really gaining in what you're getting out of your card, I think.
Yeah. And also like I have tried to improve this new version. For example, I'm just gonna show one of the cards here. So like the idea, the difference with the other card that I have designed, the space of writing, it was a lot smaller. So I got a lot of that feedback from customers, from like wholesalers and stuff. Like people are actually wanting to write more and try to use space. So I think like making these a little bit bigger and then making it reusable like many times, so it will make people hopefully to use it more, use it more and take advantage of these how can I say, like the idea of being able to plant for the whole experience from the first person who use it until the last person.
Absolutely. And your design is so informative. That's what I think is really useful. Like some people don't know how to plant when the card is finished at life, or they don't know what they're getting. Is it right for their soil? Is it right for their climate? So I feel like having those planting details on the card itself is super important, because if it's too difficult, if they have to go to, say, for example, your website or mine to figure out how to even go about planting it, I feel like that sort of takes a bit of the excitement and joy out of it. Whereas it says it on your card itself, what the seeds are, how to plant them, when to plant them, and how to raise them properly to get good results. So I think that ease of recycling and planting is super important, because people are busy. They don't necessarily have the time to research how to germinate a seed, or perhaps don't want to have that information. So I think laying it all out super clear like you have is very important for success.
Having everything like as clear as possible. I have learned from the process of selling my cards, so I think it's like for this card I have to have a lot of things ticked.
Absolutely. There's a lot that goes into plantable cards, for sure. We had some Instagram questions. I wanted to ask you a couple of these just from your opinion, because obviously I know the answers, but I want to see what you think. Okay. So how easy would you say it is to write on handmade paper? Like, what is the experience?
So since I received your product, your cards and stuff, I was so like happy and excited to write on it, because it's like I was like, this is a whole new experience, because we are so used to writing on like really flat, thin paper. Like this is so nice. This is so easy too, and so cushiony, soft, but soft in a way that like you touch it, but there's so much texture. Like the texture is so nice, and it's easy to write on that texture, So that was my experience. I just loved it.
It definitely has a very distinctive feeling when you write. The sponginess to me just, but then it's easy as well. I completely agree. I love the way that it feels very different from any other paper that I've ever written on.
And have you, I don't know, it just took me to this experience of like how, I don't know if you have tried this before in your life, but it's like suddenly you had this like the new normal paper, and then you write on a soft kind of soft-ish, hard but soft-ish what is it called, a surface, and then you write with like a pen, that will come in a different way, the way you write is so it's like I thought, oh, I made that connection. It's like that feeling is just so nice, writing on a really hard surface, but it's just like
agree. It's like you sort of, the pen strokes seem to kind of like spread just the tiniest bit, become like a little bit softer than, say, for example, on a hard surface where it's exactly as you place it. It's an odd scenario.
Yeah, but I love it. It's so nice.
So how many times can you use one of your cards?
So going back to these, I'm gonna maybe show you the other design. So this one, for example, this is called the Ocean Symphony, and this one has, I mean, this one is just the different part is the art piece, but all of them has the same thing inside. And so initially the buyer, maybe is you, the one who is viewing this video, and will get this card, and you will receive initially this little heart that is attached. You can just take it out like this, and this is a little gift for the buyer, which So you can have the experience to be able to plant, which is like plant me. I'm a flower seed paper. And you can have the experience to plant, because normally you would buy it, write the letter or write the, the message and send it.
Yeah.
And then there's initially three insert papers.
Yeah.
So the whole card, but not these little corners, are plantable. So the way it would work is you write the message, you send it to that loved one, and then the person who receives it will read your message, remove your message, plant your message, and then keep writing for the next person. So there's 1, 2, 3, and the last person who will use it will write directly on the card.
Yep.
So that's 4 times.
That is so cool. It never gets old, honestly. It really doesn't. Oh, and then show the people what the map does on the back. One of my favorite features.
So this is like something that I thought I have to do it, and to make it like more interactive, more interesting. So this is a part that you can share with everyone. Where has the card gone? Where has the card traveled? Unless it's only in New Zealand, you will just write Wellington. Mom is in Wellington. Dad is in Christchurch or somewhere. But then if the card travels from New Zealand to Australia, to Brisbane, and then you can write Brisbane or something. Yeah. And then from Brisbane to Spain and stuff like that. So you can just trace the card, the travel, and say, this is for my auntie or whatever, like. So cool. So you can do that. And see like how many, that's also like a way to show people how many times, where has it gone, the card.
Absolutely. I feel like that's my favorite design. I don't honestly, it's so hard to choose, but that one is just beautiful. I love it.
I am incredibly surprised or amazed how well your printer did this job too.
Oh, honestly, the printer is just on another world. It takes, because handmade paper is so different to commercial paper. Obviously, it's got texture, it's got thickness, different thicknesses for different products. It's got the dust. It has like a very fine dust when it's being agitated. So my printer needs a lot of love and attention, but honestly, the results that you get from it are just, they blow my mind every time I see it.
Such a good quality, quality.
Yes, because it is a high format, like large scale photographer's printer. So it is meant for like very detailed work. So super thankful for my amazing printer man that helps me with everything.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What is a plantable card?
This is a plantable card.
I love it. You just got them all lined up, ready to go.
Yes. I've got the stack of the 8 designs right next to me. Yeah. So yeah, so these are plantable cards. I have these like the mountains of.
Oh, they look good in a set.
Yes. So in this stock of cards that I have got from you has flower seeds. Maybe in future I will be changing the seeds to like vegetables or a different kind of flower range for a different season. So in this moment I have the flower seeds, the spring blend.
That brings us on to, so your spring blend has bergamot, lemon and mint, chrysanthemum pure white, and Iceland poppy Victory Giants mix. So that was another question. What is actually the spring blend? That is what your cards contain. And it says that in the writing.
Just one last question for you before we end this interview.
I don't want it to end. I'm having too much fun.
What message would you like to leave with everyone who's considering buying these plantable cards, these plantable, reusable cards?
Buy the cards, people, obviously. They are beautiful. They're created by an incredible clay artist, Emy. She has a beautiful, sustainable business. She has a family. She has a beautiful home in New Zealand that she loves. And you can send them to your loved ones, and then you can plant beautiful flowers for your home and garden and your friend's home and garden. Honestly, it's a no-brainer. You need seeded cards because you want to support a sustainable future and a sustainable environment.
Thank you so much, Charlotte, for that. And just before we go, would you like to share with everyone, where can people find you?
Yes, of course.
What's your website?
Instagram @Zwartko. I have Zwartko.com is my website. I'm also on Etsy. I'm taking a short break from Etsy because I have an enormous amount of work to do. I'm planning to be back on Etsy at the end of the week. So yeah, just shoot me on Instagram is probably my main place of business, and then I can just direct you where you need to go.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us. We will also be showing a little bit of video for you to see the cards too. And I hope you all have a beautiful day. Enjoy this interview. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Let Charlotte know. We will love to answer them to make sure everyone understands everything. And thank you so much. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.